A soccer ball is kicked with an initial upward velocity of 14.7 meters per second. Watch. Determine when the ball strikes the ground.
We can use an equation! Woo! When you throw or kick a ball, its height depends on three major factors: its starting position, the velocity at which it's released, and the force of gravity. The Earth's gravity causes objects to accelerate downward, gathering speed every second. This acceleration due to gravity is 32 feet per second squared. It means that the object's downward speed increases 32 feet per second for each second in flight.
Negative g represents the acceleration due to gravity. V sub 0 represents the object's initial velocity. H sub 0 represents the object's initial height or starting point. This equation is used to model an object's projectile motion.
Now that we know our equation for projectile motion, can we write an equation to represent our situation?
Yeah, well, we know that the acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared, and the initial velocity when we kick the ball is 14.7 meters per second. So we just need to find the height.
Well, we know the ball was kicked from the ground, so it's 0.
Okay, so let's write an equation.
Before we start, let's simplify.
Good idea.
Let's solve using the quadratic formula.
I actually think it's better to solve symbolically. I think it'll help us solve questions, or it'll help us answer more questions later.
Okay. Now we can determine when the ball hits the ground. Let's replace h of t with 0 since the height of the ground is 0 meters.
Okay, but since we're solving symbolically, we need to find h and k to plug into vertex form.
Okay.
Do you know that writing the equation that models their situation, Olivia and Brett want to find out when the ball strikes the ground. To do this, they first use the formulas for h and k so they can rewrite their equation in vertex form. This step is necessary when solving quadratic equations symbolically. Then, they use their knowledge of solving equations to find the value of t, which represents time.
It comes out to be t is equal to 1.5 plus or minus 1.5. So our answer is x equals 0 and x equals 3.
Wait, why are there two answers?
Well, the two answers represent the two times that the ball hits the ground. So the ball starts at 0, so that's when it hits the ground first. And when it hits the ground again, it's at 3 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Do you think we can figure out how high I kicked the ball?
Yeah, h and k represents the turning point, which is the ball's highest point off the ground at a specific time.
Well, we already know h and k. This is h, and this is k, which is basically like saying x and y. And we know that x is the time, and y, since it's vertical, is the height. Basically that means that the ball went 11.025 meters at 1.5 seconds. I knew there was a reason why we solved symbolically.
A model rocket blasts off from a position 2.5 meters above the ground. Its starting velocity is 49 meters per second. Assume that it travels straight up and that the only force acting on it is the downward pull of gravity.